This is a little song I wrote called I Blacked Out in the Planner Aisle at Michael's. Do you ever open your planner and feel like you have been cosplaying as your perfect self? Like, oh yeah, this page is when I thought I was going to start waking up at 5 a.m. and drinking green smoothies and going for long runs. Meanwhile, actual current you is eating cold pizza and trying to remember where you left your glasses and your keys and your will to live. The truth is, most of us are planning for the fantasy version of ourselves. That energetic, unstoppable person that we swear is going to show up any minute now. But that person probably doesn't even exist. And if they do, then they're definitely tired. So today we are throwing out the idea that planning is about perfection, because the real power of planning comes from designing for the season that you're actually in right now. Whether that's your hustle era or your burnout era, or even your I'm basically a houseplant era. Quick housekeeping, if you are new here, hi, I'm Dakota. Can you please hit that subscribe button for me? It costs you nothing, and when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I get to check out my JetPens cart. Thank you so much for your assistance. Now, let's take a breath, grab a drink, maybe a snack, because this one's going to be a little bit longer, and that is by design. I want to make sure that you feel seen no matter what season you're in. And I want you to leave this video with a clear plan of how to plan for today. Not for the Monday you, not for the someday you, but for the you that you are in this season as a beautiful chaos gremlin. Let's start with the hustle era. This is the season where ambition has the aux cord. The one where you have 47 goals and 3 side projects and a planner so color-coded it could qualify as modern art. You are in full grind mode. And listen, I'm not knocking the hustle. Sometimes you need that season. It can be exciting and fulfilling and even electric, but it can also be exhausting. Because your planner becomes a scoreboard. Every empty checkbox feels like a failure. Every skipped workout becomes some kind of moral shortcoming. You start treating your planner like a report card instead of as the tool that it should be. In your hustle years, your planner should be about focus, not pressure. Hawk is down here going crazy with a toy. I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. Oh, he just took it to the bed. You want to see him? Say hi. Anyway, your planner should be about focus, not pressure when you are in your hustle era. You don't need 50 goals. You need 3 goals that actually move your life forward, and you need the humility to cross off the rest of them. If you are in this stage, some key questions to ask yourself are, what's truly mine to carry right now? What can wait? And what can I automate, delegate, or delete to remove it from my plate completely? And once you're able to answer those questions, this is where we move into your new style of planning. The first thing you're going to do is set 3 active priorities for the week. Not 8, 3. 3 active projects that, if they were to move forward, would meaningfully change your life for the better. Everything else becomes a parking lot problem. It's not a no and it's not a never. It's a not right now. The next thing you're going to do is switch from an aspirational schedule to capacity-based blocks. Instead of rapid firing all of your tasks day to day to day every single week, you're going to start thinking in energy lanes. Deep work, light lift, and recharge. And you're going to assign tasks to those lanes based on the brain capacity you actually have that day. Because the hustle absolutely collapses under the weight of over planning when your capacity just can't keep up. Your system has to assume that you are a human being, because you are. Third, you are going to add anti-goals to your planner. These are things that you absolutely will not entertain during high stakes weeks. You're not going to learn any new software. You're not going to do any quick redesigns on your website. You're not going to launch a second channel just because you watched a YouTube video that said it might be a good idea. Your planner needs to protect you from shiny object syndrome. And finally, you're going to give your wins a place to live on the page, because hustle very often erases its own progress. You are so busy moving on to the next thing that you never give yourself a minute to celebrate all the things you've already accomplished. And we're going to stop doing that. You're going to add an evidence log to your planner. And every single day you are going to write down one concrete thing that you completed that you are proud of yourself for finishing. This log will become your antidote to the nasty brain thinking of, I never get anything done. Yes, you do. And you have evidence right in your evidence log. No more forgetting how hard you've worked or how far you've come. And then we have the opposite end of the spectrum. We have our low capacity season. Maybe it's chronic pain or chronic illness. Maybe it's grief. Maybe it's burnout. This is where your energy disappears. Your brain is fried. And your planner starts to look like a graveyard of good intentions. You're just flipping through the pages looking at all the things that you didn't do. And it hurts. The mindset shift here is radical acceptance. Your low capacity self is not a failed self. Planning still belongs to you, but the version of planning that works now is just a little bit smaller. It's a little bit softer, and it is a whole lot kinder. For my spoonies, we are going to start with a baseline card. This is going to answer the question, what keeps my life together when I have almost nothing left to give? We're thinking simple foods, drinking water, taking our meds, and maybe that one non-negotiable chore that prevents future overwhelm. Maybe it's starting a load of laundry so you always have clean underwear, or maybe it's running the dishes so you're not eating cereal with a fork or a ladle. We've all done it. It's okay, because this is not and cannot be about productivity. This is about protection. Your planner becomes your safety net instead of your scoreboard. I have to go let the dog out. The next thing that we're going to do here is shrink our tasks down into micro moves. We're replacing things like clean the kitchen into things like clear the sink. We're replacing write an entire script with open the document and write 2 lines. We are replacing exercise today with put on our shoes and go outside for 90 seconds. Friction kills momentum. Micro moves revives it. And yes, if all you manage is to open the document, it still counts. You moved your story forward 1 inch. The rest will still be there tomorrow. Listen, I completely understand how flare-up days work. They come with brain fog, they come with pain, and they come with guilt and grief and frustration. And none of that is improved by staring at 12 empty checkboxes on a page. So we need to start designing our layouts for gentle proof. We're going to add a little line that says, I showed up today by, and then we're going to record the one thing that we did. I showed up today by taking my meds. I showed up today by pacing the living room when I couldn't get myself to go out the front door. I showed up today by resting my eyes and not scrolling for 10 full minutes. These things are not consolation prizes. They're stitches. And sometimes they are the only thing holding us together. And finally, we're going to make a future you care package. And we're going to do this when we are in a steady moment, not when we are crying on the kitchen floor. We're going to build up a little flair kit with things like shelf-stable snacks, a list of our favorite silly shows or videos, a super long charger cable. If your kit is big enough, throw in a cozy blanket and some fuzzy slippers, baby. Because this is all about building something that will take care of the you that needs to be taken care of. When you do your monthly planner, you have to build in float days. You know that if you have chronic migraines, at some point you're going to get a migraine and you can't predict when that's going to hit. So you have to build in buffer zones that are designed to catch the chaos that is going to fall through the cracks when a flare-up happens. And if you manage to go through the month and you didn't need these little chaos pockets, then that's just intentional rest time. Listen to me, low capacity does not exile you from the world of planning. It just asks you to plan like a person and not like a machine. And if you decide today's victory was watching me ramble on about planning with your eyes only half open, that's great. I'm really proud of you. Now let's talk about the season of life where your planner basically belongs to other people. You're taking care of kids, you're taking care of parents, you're taking care of partners, or maybe you're just the designated responsible one in a friend group full of bigger chaos gremlins. These are the years where every single minute feels like it's scheduled, but none of it is for you. Your planner looks full, but it's full of everyone else's lives. And you know what happens? You disappear from your own pages. The goal in this season of your life is radical self-inclusion. You make yourself a line item in your day. Not if there's time, not maybe on Thursday. No, your name goes on the page like an appointment that cannot be skipped. In practical terms, that's going to look like time anchoring rather than time blocking. You're going to pick 2 or 3 anchors in the day. For best practices, morning, midday, and evening. And you are going to pick something in each of those times that serves you. 10 quiet minutes in the morning with your coffee before the rest of the house wakes up. Going for a walk alone without the dog while the dishwasher's doing the dishes. Set a timer to do 5 minutes of stretching before you climb into bed. These tiny little anchors throughout your day become like little handholds on a wall you're climbing. You don't always need a complete uninterrupted hour. And let's face it, you're in a season where you're probably not going to get one of those anyway. What you need is just something to grab hold of for a minute. The next thing you're going to do is simplify your family admin. You are going to keep one single command center, one calendar, one inbox folder, one catch-all notebook or shared app on your phone, because fragmentation is where the stress multiplies. Try to give yourself a recovery hour at the end of every week to close those open loops. Sign forms, reorder toilet paper, all those little things that get interrupted through your day. No. All that shit gets done on Thursday afternoon now. Set a playlist, light a candle, and bribe yourself with snacks if you have to. But we want to do something that makes all the admin stuff as painless as possible. And we want to be able to do it all at once so that it's not leaking into every single day and just multiplying on its own like wet mogwai after midnight. I feel like I made that reference in a previous video. I got gremlins on the brain right now, sorry. And listen, because chaos seasons are so loud, try to pre-decide a quiet list. Small things that refill your well without overcomplicated logistics. Bookmarking a podcast that you love. A simple journal prompt. Keep a face towel in the freezer so that when you, have a hot flash or you need to scream into something, it's available to you and already chilled. No, none of that stuff equates to like the spa day that you need and deserve, but it all counts. You are allowed to be a person, even when you are the scaffolding holding everyone else's lives together. And most importantly, if you are in this season of life, communicate your limits on paper. If Tuesdays are always insane for you, you're going to put in your planner that those are maintenance only days. No new tasks on Tuesdays. No deep projects on Tuesdays. We're just keeping the boat afloat between driving back and forth to schools and practices and doctor's appointments. And you must put a physical boundary in your planner on the days of the week that you know go off the rails. In fact, this is the perfect use for all those beautiful but non-functional stickers you've been hoarding. You're going to grab a great big one and you're going to slap it right on that day. Because you can't add tasks to a box that's already covered by a full body sticker of Jack and Sally hugging on a curly hill. And listen, I know this season is hard, but caregiving does not have to mean completely losing yourself. And it should mean loving yourself at the same time. Your planner is allowed to remember you, especially when you are too busy remembering everyone else. Maybe your world has shifted. Your kids are grown, you've changed jobs, your health has evolved, your hormones are raging, and your identity is shuffling. And suddenly, your old system no longer fits. This is where I am now. And if you've been with me for any length of time, you have heard me bitch many times about this situation that I'm in. So the fact that I'm offering advice here is actually a little bit funny, but after a lot of brainstorming and journal work, these are the things I find myself leaning towards as we move into this season of life together. Because this is where we rebuild our systems from the ground up. And we have to start small, because the urge to go crazy is gonna be huge. It's so huge. The number of carts across the interwebs with the number of different planners that I have sitting in them because I don't know what I want is astounding and hilarious. So we're gonna start small, okay? If you're a digital person and it is not working for you anymore, try going analog. Try using a single notebook for everything. I tried this for a while and it worked pretty well until it didn't anymore, and that's gonna happen. But sometimes your brain doesn't want to be compartmentalized into my work planner and my home planner and my meal planner and my YouTube planner. It wants a sandbox to play in. It wants one thing. So just give it a try. Because the goal here isn't necessarily to get organized. Really, it's to get reacquainted with yourself or acquainted with your new self. This way, planning becomes a conversation and not some kind of command. We're gonna start super simple and we're gonna start with a now map, a not so fancy name for a 2-page spread in a scrap notebook. Or use your fancy one, I don't care. But we are not worrying about aesthetics here because this is the dumpiest of brain dumps. We are not filtering. We are not hand lettering. We are word vomiting. What's working and what's draining. We're gonna list tools and tasks and rituals and even people. If it gives you energy or clarity, it goes on the what's working page. If it steals your energy, if it complicates your life, if it makes you want to tear your hair out, it goes on the what's draining page. By the way, though, because if your partner or your kids or your pets are on the what's draining page, please remember that perimenopause makes everything irritating, and maybe give your household a break on this one. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to design small experiments. Not a whole new plan or religion, tiny trials. 1 week, you're going to try theme days. Next week, you're going to try lane days. You're going to have a deep work lane and a light work lane. Maybe next you're going to try a brain dump in the morning and a wrap up in the evening. We're not committed to any of this because we're just testing. You're going to put a sticky note at the end of the week and you're going to say, keep, toss, tweak, and you are going to be ruthless. The only standard we have anymore for planning is, does this help me move through the days I'm actually having? And this is why I am trying so hard not to beat myself up for the constant shifting of my planner systems. Because I'm testing, I'm not wasting. At least that's what I tell myself when my printer is whirring and my bujo is on the floor under my desk. But hey, we're all a work in progress, right? And listen to me, transitions hunger for meaning. You may not know your 5-year plan anymore, if you ever did, but you can usually point in a direction. Try picking 3 words that guide this season. Not goals, qualities. Calm, brave, gentle. And then when you're setting up your plan, ask yourself, what would the calm version of me schedule for myself? What would the gentle version of me cancel? That becomes your values-based planning, and it is stronger than any layout you've ever seen on Instagram. And a word of caution, be very, very careful about comparisons. Your past self isn't better. They're just past. And your future self is not a promise. It's just a possibility. And that bitch on Instagram who makes you feel inferior about your handwriting, well, she's probably not actually a bitch. And that's her job, so stop letting other people make you feel bad about your planner. And go stick a bag of lima beans down your bra before you melt into a hot flash puddle. Because you just know if you drip sweat on that spread that you spent 2 hours creating, you are going to lose your mind. Listen, some seasons require sharpness. This is not that season. This is our soft era. The one where maybe our memory feels a little slippery, and maybe our attention span has some very serious opinions about when it wants to participate. But let's be very clear with each other on something. This is not the nothing left to plan era. For many people, this is the first season where life is finally gloriously yours. Not your bosses, not your calendars, not your families, not a never-ending list of other people's obligations, but your life. And that ownership is not small. It is a whole new map. And maybe your planner isn't here to measure your productivity anymore. Maybe it's here to help you savor and remember and enjoy the life you've built. The one, by the way, that you're still shaping. The goal now is gentle structure with zero shame. Think of your system like a well-loved house. Cozy lights in the window, a place for everything, and a front porch you actually want to step onto. With that in mind, let's start where overwhelm usually begins here, with too many places to look. For this season, pick one home base. a single planner, or a large wall calendar, something you can see from all the way across the room, because the perfect tool is the one that we reliably use. Keep it where your eyes naturally land, on the kitchen table, next to the coffee pot, hell, near the TV remote, I don't judge. But if your planner is hiding, your plans are going to hide with it. Daily pages should be calm and readable at a glance. One short column for must do, one for things that would be nice to do, and one for things that you are sure as hell not doing today. That last one matters, because you get to say no without arguing with yourself. When a task continues to migrate from day to day to day to day, park it on a later list and let it go. You're not lazy for not doing it today. You're just wise enough to let it stop stealing attention from the things that you do have to do today. Let's take a second to talk about our memory. Let's talk about using our planners as our memory bank. Adding a tiny line like yesterday is shockingly powerful for all of us, regardless of the stage of life that you're in. But when you make a note like, yesterday I walked around the block with Mary, or yesterday I fed the birds and I named 3 of them and they're all named Charlie, or maybe yesterday I sat on the front porch and I watched the sunset like I was in Little House on the Prairie. Doing this leaves breadcrumbs for future you, because your brain remembers things that you revisit. And look, we're not building ourselves like a prison of habit tracking here. We're just building a little rhythm that our brains can hum along to. Now let's talk about the big things, the things like our medication and our pets, our appointments, the life-giving tasks that get a little bit slippery, because the trick here is to make the invisible visible and to give actions a place to live. Keep a small habits that matter strip right on your planner. Not 50 boxes or anything, just the essentials. Morning meds, evening meds, fed the pet, rinse the coffee pot. And when you check these things off, you're not proving anything to the world. You're just leaving a friendly footprint for yourself. Listen, before I leave the house, I have to touch all the burners on my stove to make sure that they're off. I can't just look at them and tell myself that they're off. I have to touch them. Leaving little touchstones like this is not weakness. It's actually a strength, because you are taking the stress of having to remember these things off your plate. Did I turn the stove off before I left the house? I absolutely did, because I touched all 4 freaking burners. Another thing that's helpful, literally at any stage in your life, is to put a small whiteboard next to the door with the words keys, purse, phone, glasses. And, if you're really spicy, maybe add pants. Install hooks right next to the door for your keys and make sure you hang them up the second you walk in the house so you always know where they are. Design your spaces to help you, because your brain is super visual. So writing sticky note reminders is not childish. It's not a sign of weakness. It's fun. And while we're here, please don't let anyone talk you out of tracking things, because tracking is not about policing yourself. It's about freeing your brain from carrying these things around. So track the things that make your life better, that make your life sweeter, because all of it is just evidence of a life maintained and a life enjoyed. It helps you to feel present in the moment. And checking off a few small boxes can help you feel that you are. This season should be so much about joy, because you are finally planning just for you. It's no longer a someday, because someday is now. So you get to put delight on the page like it belongs there, because it does. Grabbing coffee with your neighbor, going to the library, making cookies with your grandkids, getting them all sugared up before sending them home to their parents. Safety and confidence can live beautifully together in your planner. Keep it like it's the little black book of your life, because to be completely honest, not every single day in this era is going to feel like it's lit by fairy lights. Some days are going to be foggy. And on those days, you're going to shrink your tasks down to one thing, one errand, one phone call. Clean out one junk drawer. And at the end of that day, you're going to write down, I showed up today by doing this one thing. And this is how you're going to keep your story kind when your brain wants to be mean to you. And for the love of all that's holy, don't forget to write down all the funny stuff. The world is obsessed with youth and speed. Let your planner be obsessed with wit and tenderness. Make a note when your grandkid says his first cuss word in front of you, because that's funny. I don't care who you are. Write down the joke that your neighbor told you that made you snort coffee out of your nose. Because if planning is only ever about pushing forward, you're missing the point. Planning should be about catching life as it happens and giving it a place to live. Honey, you're not slowing down. You're just taking up your rightful space inside of life. You still have decisions to make and rooms to arrange and rooms to light up. You are not a supporting character in someone else's schedule. You are the owner of your time. So yes, keep it simple, make the invisible visible, and track the tiny things if they help. But most of all, remember that this is not the end stage of planning. This is the beginning of planning for you. Not to prove anything to anyone, but to just enjoy everything. If you take nothing else from this video, please let it be this. Your life will have seasons, and your planning should too. You are allowed to outgrow systems. You're allowed to need something simpler or something more complicated if that's what's speaking to you in the moment. You are allowed to change your mind, and you are allowed to change your systems, and you are allowed to change your life and your outlook, all of it, because planning is not a performance. It's self-awareness in ink. So wherever you are in your season of life right now, be it the hustle era, burnout mode, crunchy houseplant, whatever it is, you deserve a planning system that meets you where you are. Your plan does not have to be pretty. It just has to be possible. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you found this video helpful, or at the very least mildly entertaining. And if you did, please don't forget to smash all those YouTube buttons for me and leave me a comment below and let me know what season you feel you're in right now. I'm in that transition season. I'm struggling with planning and what direction to go and what I want and what I need, and my God, the hot flashes. But we all know where I am, and I would like to know where you feel that you are, and if you have a planner system that is working for the season that you are in, I would love to hear about it. So please leave me a comment down below and tell me everything. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.